Fat Mike would go on to call Liberal Animation NOFX's worst record. It's totally easy to see why that is. I don't necessarily agree, but it does get worse every time you listen to it. This thing ages like warm milk used for a sweaty foot bath. So today, we're gonna dive into the lyrics, we're gonna dive into these songs, and see if it really is the worst output in NOFX's history. Are the contents of Liberal Animation really that offensive? Hey ladies, Dan Frampton here, welcome to the video, thank you for clicking on. Before we get going, how's about you like, comment, and subscribe, that really helps out the channel. And now we're gonna slip and slide down this rabbit hole, starting with the album cover itself. Okay, so first a little backstory about this record. It's NOFX's first official LP, but it's not their first recordings. They have a batch of demos and 7-inches that came out in like the mid to early 80s or whatever, and those songs would be put on a compilation that would come out later called Maximum Rock and Roll, but this is the first full-length project where NOFX go into a studio with it in mind to put out a whole project. They got Brett Gurewitz on this thing from Bad Religion and Epitaph, and Brett was all like, hey guys, I'll put this out on Epitaph if you want, we'll get it out to a couple people, it's gonna be pretty sick. But NOFX wasn't down with that. They wanted to do this whole independent thing, this whole DIY thing, so that's what they did. And that all happened in 1988, but they didn't really sell a lot of copies, so eventually they caved and let Brett release it on Epitaph. Now, upon first glance of the album artwork, it's instantly memorable. You got these cows sitting around a table, eating a human being. And right off the bat, that actually seems like it's vegetarian propaganda. That seems like they're trying to invite people into the vegetarian lifestyle, but it's quite the opposite. This record is as anti-vegetarian as you could possibly get. And they don't necessarily make any good points, they're just attacking vegetarians for the sake of attacking them and being like, we're right, it's better to eat meat than it is to not eat meat, you guys suck and are stupid. And sonically, this thing is rough around every edge. They didn't really tune that well, it's so sloppy, but that's all okay, because they had it in their mind to put out a punk record. They're not really putting out anything poppy or catchy right now, because that's not their point. They just want to go into a studio, fuck around, and then try to sell a record to a bunch of people. And I think they learned a lot of lessons from doing that, because all their efforts after this, they would hone in on certain aspects of the songwriting process and tighten up a whole lot. And don't get me wrong, I love how fast, loose, aggressive, and sloppy this thing is. It has a whole lot of charm. But if they just unironically trim the fat off of this thing, it'd be so much better. There's a whole bunch of useless solos, intros, interludes, bridges, and just a lot of stuff that just could have went. And if they cut out all that boring time-wasting shit, this stuff would actually be pretty good. And that's what I mean by it gets worse every time you listen to it. Because the first time you're listening to it, you just got the sonic sound waves bouncing around, and you're like, okay, yeah, this is just early NOFX punk rock stuff, whatever. But then you're looking at the watch going like, oh my god, this is still going? And the reason why that is because you got these 3-minute, almost 4-minute beefy ass songs that are not arranged intelligently, it's just all over the place. The first song, Shut Up Already, goes right into that anti-vegetarian stuff, where it's just telling vegetarians to shut up because we find you annoying. And this just reads like, okay, we got really drunk and high as crap on cocaine in the studio, and we just want to like rail on vegetarians for whatever reason. It doesn't seem like it's pointed, it doesn't seem like there's a real reason for it to happen, other than that you find them annoying. The lyrics aren't funny or clever, and it's just kind of there, And hearing Mike come at you with this holier-than-thou stuff is really fucked up, because he's kind of a self-admitted train wreck today, you know what I mean? He's not really a holier-than-thou type person, and I think Fat Mike really grew a lot from what happened on this record. Because when you're in the DIY scene, when you're in the punk scene, there's a lot of vegetarians around, there's a lot of vegans around, and to come out with this kind of rhetoric is just gonna alienate you to a huge portion of the community. I'm not saying he changed for political reasons, but it's clear that Mike grew up a little bit, as much as he doesn't want you to think that. The next song is a pretty good, fast little song at 46 seconds long. It's called Freedom. This gets a pass. I like this song. But then we're hit with an almost 3-minute cut called Here Comes the Neighborhood, and this thing sucks. It starts off so slow, and then it gets so fast, and then right when the song should be ending around the minute 40 mark, you get this wanky ass guitar solo that just sucks ass. And I'm just remembering one other thing that I forgot to mention about the first track, Shut Up Already. It ends with a Led Zeppelin cover. Very weird. And then we're hit with a song after that about having crabs. And this is right down the NOFX alley that I would expect them to be singing about, even into the 90s and 2000s. It's not really that great though, and there are like weird ass guitar solos all over the thing. The addition of Hefe to the band in later years is gonna be one of the best moves that the band could make, from a musical perspective anyway. And then the song Sloppy English is just bad lyric after bad lyric. It's not catchy, it's not fun, it's not funny, but I still like it. See, I'm not against sloppy, I'm not against untuned, I'm not against generally bad music if it's actually enjoyable to listen to. But this stuff just gets tedious and boring because of all the solos, these wanky ass rock and roll guitar solos, these bridges, they go ska for a couple minutes, they go acoustic for a couple seconds, and it just takes up a lot more time than it should. And if it didn't have any of that stuff, it would just hit you in the face track after track after track, and it would actually be kind of a fun ride. Because the next song, You Put Chocolate in My Peanut Butter, is the worst song so far. What an egregious piece of punk rock this is. Talking about egregious, the next song, Mr. Jones, 3 minutes and 18 seconds. It's pretty much Ozzy Osbourne the punk song. And after that we get some vegetarian mumbo jumbo. Yes, that is the name of the track. Vegetarian Mumbo Jumbo starts off so eloquently with lyrics like this: vegetarian, vegetarian, vegetarian. I don't want tofu. I'd rather have a mouthful of beef stew. I don't want to be a vegetarian. Why eat beans when you can have a steak instead? These are the dumbest lyrics ever, Mike. Who cares if you don't want tofu? Why is beef stew better than tofu? Who cares about what people are eating? It seems like you have a couple really annoying people in your life, and I know California would have been really oversaturated with this kind of rhetoric at the time, but these lyrics are just the dumbest thing in the world. They keep going. I don't feel bad about eating something that's dead. Are you trying to prove a point with this? Are you trying to make vegetarians feel stupid by saying this? Hey, why aren't you eating this? It's dead already. Yeah, that's part of the problem. And if we all weren't eating the things that were dead, maybe we might stop killing them. You know? And I'm saying that fully as a meat eater. I have full respect for the vegetarian and vegan community. Back into these glorious lyrics over here. Why should I be sad when cows get hit in the head? Oh my god. Yeah, I guess there was those like propaganda films going around. PETA was really crazy about all that stuff, making you see the cows getting hit in the head and stuff, and it's very vicious. So I like eating fish. Tell me what's wrong with this. How can you blame me for eating chicken from the sea vegetarian? Oh my god. Are you starting to see this holier than thou type attitude coming through? Why do you care about killing animals? God, they're just animals. Let me eat the things that are dead. I'm better than you for eating dead things. Tofu's gross. Why are you eating beans, idiot? Don't waste your breath yelling at me about animal rights and how they should be free, because it's survival of the fittest and we're winning. That is the most ignorant, stupid line I have ever heard. And that's actually what people think. That's actually an argument that people make for eating meat. It's the survival of the fittest, the food chain. We're the top of the food chain. Let me be the top of the food chain, huh? I'm eating meat here. I don't feel bad for eating something that's dead. Why should I be sad for chickens being force-fed? Vegetarians go fry an egg. And we mean it. And you know, NOFX at the time is just trying to be edgy for the sake of being edgy. I know that they don't necessarily believe everything that's coming out in these lyrics, and future interviews would show so much growth for Fat Mike, but we haven't even seen the worst of it yet. The next song, Beer Bong, is probably the best song on the record by a country mile, and I think they still play it. But then after Beer Bong, we get another piece of glorious anti-vegetarianism stuff with this song called Peace. You fight for peace, but where's the war? What the fuck are we doing this for? You say disarmament, that's the key, but that's not how it looks to me. You wear a leather jacket, but you eat meat. Peace punk, get drunk, spike your hair, go out, hang out. Do you really care? There's no easy answers. So he's like, hey, you're making some contradictions over here by wearing some leather and then eating meat or whatever. That's a little bit fricked. And I really don't know what the point of raging against a vegetarian is. Why are you so mad at vegetarians? You really must had a whole bunch of really annoying people just open up a bunch of really like small shops around town, and they're just annoying you with this stuff day in and day out. Because other than that, there's no reason to attack these people that are actually trying to make the world a more peaceful, less violent place. Complaining won't do shit. If you want some changes, don't be a hypocrite. Yeah, coming from Fat Mike, that's rich. Fuck the system, that's what they say, but they live by it every day. Food stamps and welfare checks, would you rather starve to death? What? Oh my God, they're like, don't you know that having money is a privilege, and being vegetarian means you have money, so you have this like crazy privilege? What if you didn't have that privilege, huh? Are you saying that poor people can't eat meat if that's what their food stamps are buying? Fuck you, vegetarians. Goddamn, Fat Mike, what are these lyrics, man? You wear your leather jacket, but you won't eat meat, get blah, 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 blah. Hang out, you don't really care, don't you feel ridiculous now? Half your wardrobe comes from a cow, you believe in anarchy? Who are you really trying to be? What? I mean, I do find it funny and amusing when you see hypocrisy like that. When people are preaching one thing, like being vegetarian and then wearing leather, I do get the hilarity in that hypocrisy, but this song comes off like so angry, like they're the worst kinds of people in the world, when that's just not the case. They're just kind of mildly annoying and kind of funny. And maybe in this track, Fat Mike is trying to be funny and trying to be edgy, but it just comes across like angry and ignorant. But the next song is only 1 minute and 8 seconds. It's a breezy listen called I Live in a Cake, and it's a pretty decent cut. It's not the greatest thing in the world. And then track 12 might be my second favorite song on this thing. It's called No Problems. It's 1 minute 20 seconds long. It's pretty good, it's pretty fast, but it has this really lame, wanky tap solo in it that I could totally do without. And then the next song, we almost got through the whole record without some deep-rooted misogyny here, but the song On the Rag is as anti-woman as you could possibly get. I'm not going to be reading these lyrics. These lyrics make me feel very uncomfortable to just even have them on the screen here. But I just need you to see that this was the kind of output that Fat Mike was doing at the time, and maybe why Kathleen Hanna might have been calling him a misogynist. These lyrics might be part of the reason why he was branded and labeled as a misogynist and a chauvinist. These are not empathetic lyrics. These are not woke lyrics by any stretch of the imagination. These are incel lyrics. These are red-pilled fucking 4chan guy lyrics, okay? These are the kind of lyrics written by a guy that goes to school with an AK-47, you dig? So there it is, the title of the video. It was not clickbait. NOFX hated women back then, and you could tell by these lyrics. Even though they might have been trying to be edgy, trying to be funny, it doesn't come across as edgy or funny. But I need to emphasize that I've seen Fat Mike grow a whole lot from this, and I do not believe that he is today a misogynist or a chauvinist or a woman hater or anti-gay or anything like that. I actually kind of see Fat Mike in the LGBTQ community these days. But there's one more song on this record, Truck Stop Blues, clocking in at 3 minutes and 3 seconds. And it suffers from every pitfall that this record has so far. The mixing is bad, the vocals are way down, it goes from acoustic to fast, there's a solo, it's just all over the place compositionally. Fat Mike's voice is bad, everything just kind of sucks on this, and it's just a lame fart way to close out a record. To me, this is not NOFX's worst record. They definitely, in my opinion, have worse records, even though most of the fans consider this to be the absolute worst pile of dog shit that they've ever put out. They have over 16 full-length records at this point, and I'm not going to come out and say definitively which one I like the least, but it probably came out in the 2010s. Okay, and that's going to be about it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe before you get on out of here. Ring the bell if you're cool as hell, and until my next upload, watch another upload.